I am the host, Richard Ravenbrook, a man, a life coach, and a spiritual mentor who has endeavored to find real spiritual truth and self-enlightenment. With experiences in various ministry types, pagan traditions, and even magical paths. With a love for Mother Earth and the balance of life, I work to channel spirit and to help educate and mentor those striving to deconstruct from mainstream religion and to empower them to find the divinity within themselves and to the truth around them. The messages are focused on everyday life, creating an environment of real coexistence, a world of mutual respect, love, and dignity. The pagan preacher is all things, the preacher and the pagan, speaking from the wisdom of spirit. Welcome and merry meet, everybody. This is Richard Kent from the Pagan Empire Incorporated. Today what we want to talk about is some of the current events going on in the U.S.A. today. You know, I just got back from a vacation, went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, Pigeon Forge. You know, I had a good time there. They've got some pretty amazing events there. They got some good shows. They just got some good entertainment there. But, you know, I noticed one thing that stood out when I first got to Pigeon Forge. I noticed this gigantic cross just kind of standing there, letting everybody know basically that this was Christian territory. You know, and my first feeling was, sadly, oppression. Feeling that, you know, that if you really know anything about religious trauma and how real religious trauma is, that cross being there, and this goes way past just the cross. This is just where I'm beginning. But this cross was probably, you know, at least 50 foot tall. But then what I noticed, even on what, you know, I would consider the strip, the main streets of Pigeon Forge, was everything from almost every business you would go to was Jesus Saves or God's Grace, or, I mean, it was something that was specifically targeting to convert to Christianity. Me and the wife and family, we even went to one of the gym places there where you can kind of dig in the sand and find your own gyms, and that itself was fun. Like I said, most of these events were fun, but even in digging these stones, we find a gold coin, and in that gold, or on that gold coin, was, what would Jesus do? And I just kept thinking to myself, you know, like, this is, you know, people just don't seem to understand that that is not acceptable in the United States of America. And it shouldn't be. What about all the people that come there that aren't Christian? What about the people that were Christian and have been hurt by Christianity? All they wanted to do was go for a vacation with their family and couldn't seem to do that without having religion forced down their throats at every turn. And the sad part is, while paying for it. You know, it's one thing to operate your church and to minister in your church and to preach what it is that you want to preach in your church. All those things are acceptable. But when you start putting things in businesses, like the little gold coins, we weren't in a church. We were digging for semi-precious gemstones. We weren't looking to be converted. We weren't looking to be preached at. But yet, it was forced upon us. We look out in the U.S.A. today and we see so much radical, extreme, religious, everything from white nationalism to just radical conservatives that are pushing their agenda of this one Christian nation. And we know that the United States was never a Christian nation, that the idea of our nation being one religion goes against everything that the founding fathers even spoke about. Because you can't have religious freedom and demand that everybody be the same religion. You know, we look out right now and all these bills that are coming out against the LGBT community and to transgender individuals, to drag shows, to just all these, in the year 2023, you would think that we would not have these issues. Why is it that people cannot just allow people to live the life that they want without feeling that they have to play God and intervene for them? Peace in this world comes so easy if we would just love each other and allow each other to do what it is that each of us want to do and let the gods do the rest. That's how easy it is. We look at all these different religions. Christianity said that the world was going to end 2,000 years ago. And 2,000 years later, they're still preaching that the world's going to end and, all these different things, that the end of the world's coming. And so far out of 2,000 years, they've been incorrect. Other religions are the same. And I don't want to just, try to, belittle Christianity, because that's not my intention. My intention right now is to express, kind of the things that happened to me while on vacation. And then as I ponder that and I look and I go through social media and I see that it's happening to just thousands and thousands and thousands of other people out there. Maybe in a different aspect. It may not be religious liberty. It may just be in a lifestyle liberty. It may just be in free choice. It may just be, but the point of the matter is religion and religious values, religious ideals being forced upon people without choice. And you cannot say it's choice like when we went into the gemstone show or to dig gemstones and we get preached at by the very product that we paid for. That is not acceptable. That is forcing religion down someone's throat. And it's happening all over our country. I ask this, right beside this 50-foot or taller cross, the first thing you see when you kind of head into Pigeon Forge, I wonder what would happen if we decided to put up a 40-foot pentacle. That's religious liberty. According to what this country says, we have the right to do so. But what do you think? I just asked that. I pondered that question. What would happen if that was even truly suggested? I could pretty much bank it would not only be denied, but it would be a battle in itself to even come close to anything of that nature. Religious trauma, and even me just talking about this right now, kind of shows that trauma. Because, people know that I was I was a Christian minister at one time. I come from the church. Even though in my youth, I was not a Christian. I became Christian, and I became a Christian minister because of the pressure. Because of people, especially being young, how they kind of push their ideology and their theology on you and scare you. Scare you about, well, if you don't do this, you're going to burn for eternity. And if you don't do this, society will not accept you. And if you don't do this, then you're just not going to have the things in life that you could have. Which is all bull. It's all lies. I heard someone say on a social media post, I think just today, that, if prayer is all it took, then prayer would change the hearts of everybody in this country to follow a certain way. We wouldn't need politicians that are forcing their beliefs on people that don't have those beliefs. The fact of the matter of everyone's still, 2,000 years later, still believing in separate religions and separate, theologies and separate, proves the fact that God finds it acceptable, or the gods find it acceptable, that people have different feelings and different religions and different traditions from different cultures. It's man that desires control. It's man that desires everything to be one way, because we can't, just can't fathom the idea of just people being different. It's really confusing. And it's really, when you look at everything and you see just how easy things can be, if people could just respect each other. Simple mutual respect. You don't have to understand someone's belief or understand someone's lifestyle or even approve of it to still respect their right to have it or to live it. But in this world, we've been trained and we've been brought up that things have to be a certain way. You have to walk a certain normal. You have to walk a certain standard in order to be in society. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe to change things, we've got to break the normal. We have to show that there really is no normal. Normal is what is right for you, what is right for me. We're all different. We're all different inside and out. We have different purposes, different wants, different desires. And just as I was pushed into becoming a Christian minister, many other people are pushed to be something that they're not either, or something they were never meant to be. I consider myself now pretty much an interfaith minister or a pagan minister, because I try to witness and try to teach on paganism and the different magical traditions. A real ominous kind of belief and understanding that dives into exploration of spirit. And as I kind of look, and it bewilders me and it confuses me and it grieves my heart and it grieves even spirit. And I know sometimes, even when I give the podcast, or I give different, it may come across even as a, I guess that preacher kind of thing, in the voice, or that, that will always remain. Being a mentor or a life coach or whatever it is, because we're still ministers. Because all a minister is someone who, with the verb, ministers. Ministers truth, ministers comfort, ministers, whether you're a pagan or whatever the religion is, you're still a minister if you're ministering those things to people. So, when we get into terms and terms and labels and definitions and all that, people, I've even had that heard. Well, pagans don't have ministers, but yes, they do. It may be you may term it different. Different cultures probably termed it different, maybe labeled it different in a different word, but if you have people in your tradition that minister to people, minister comfort, minister healing, minister mentoring, then yes, you have ministers. Ministers are not just religious based. They are not just spiritual based. It's a verb, it's an action to minister to people. But moving on from there, because I know sometimes I can get off a little track, but the persecution in the United States right now isn't just in a religious aspect. And I know, the pagan empire are advocates for religious liberty and equality. But I think we should go way past that. Because we fully support the end of, the ending of racism. We fully support our LGBT communities and their right to choose. We fully accept and support women's rights to choose as well. Because it's all about that right to choose. The right to be the person that you are without someone forcing their beliefs down your throat. Religious trauma, We look and people trying to claim that these drag shows and these, all these different drag storytelling and all that is a danger to children. And we want to stop these drag shows. We want to stop all these different things from happening when it comes to the LGBT community. And it's just absolutely ridiculous when we also look at the church and the thousands upon thousands of child assault cases, sexual assault cases within the church. We see everything from the Baptist communities to the Catholic communities, and we see that, did you know that 33 states in the U.S.A. have loopholes where the church doesn't even have to really report it? We have different things in this country that our focus is off. Our focus is just, and you can probably even hear in my voice sometimes how it gets so, and I know everyone feels it too. I see it on social media. I see the crying out of people just saying that, for the last several years, the LGBT community and everything has been in deep fear that their rights were going to be taken away. But over the last 50 years, when we kind of look back, look at all the people that didn't have rights, or all the people that had no say-so in this country. And these were based upon people that thought they were good people, good Christian values. But sometimes those values, if we're not careful, can suppress and oppress people. Women didn't even have the right to vote. Segregation in our schools and everywhere else were dividing us based upon color. There was no real freedom in this country for many, many years. Women didn't have a choice. Women didn't have a say-so. And now it's going after the LGBT, where they shouldn't have a say-so, or they shouldn't have a choice, or they shouldn't. It's like, people, can we just lay down these arguments and just let people be? People rise up and say, well, I shouldn't have to have my children doesn't want to be a part of this, or my child doesn't want to be a part of this. And you know what? You have that right. You have that right to pull your child out or do whatever it is, but you don't have the right to pull someone else's out. You don't have the right to tell someone else that they can or cannot do something just because you don't believe it. And you don't have the right to stop someone from doing something simply because you or your group, your religious group, doesn't believe that they should have that right. Everyone has that right if you live in the United States of America. Religious liberty, equality, our civil rights, all these things grant us the right to pursue happiness and to be the person that we are inside. And anything that tries to stop that, anything that tries to oppress that or suppress that or hinder that in any way is the enemy to freedom. And what we've got to understand is, we can't, because I've heard it said that, we can't limit the church in order to give us. No, but it takes that little thing called respect. What you do within the four walls of your church or your temple or whatever it may be, that's your business. But when you start to take those things to the streets and you begin to force what you believe on someone else, even if you're just shouting it, you still are traumatizing people. You're traumatizing children by standing on a corner preaching that they're going to burn for eternity if they don't change from what they're taught. What if their parents are pagan? What if their parents are Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist? You are telling that child that their parents are wrong and that they shouldn't listen to their parents. They should follow a different path because you're right and their parents are wrong. Have you ever thought of that? When the street preachers stand on the corners and preaching these kind of things as kids walk by, you are the one that are traumatizing people. You are the ones that are endangering children. You know how many suicides happen every year from transgender or LGBT children that are just lost and confused because They don't have anybody that'll just simply support their right to choose. And that's utterly ridiculous. We're not here to push our theology and our religion down people's throat. We're here to work together, to love each other, and allow people to do what it is that they need to do. As long as nobody is hurting someone else against their will, let them be. Let them live their life. Stop pushing this religious ideology and theology upon people. The idea that I couldn't even go on vacation without having one religion. You know, it may have been a little bit different if I saw multiple religions having all their different stuff up. That would have been fully acceptable, fully understandable. But there wasn't. There was only one religion that was being broadcast and proclaimed all over that tourist area. It was Christianity with their gigantic cross and something religious almost on every building, including the dirt we were digging our stones out of that we paid for. These things are not acceptable. They are not right. And these are the things that we have to eliminate from our society. Religion does not belong in government. No religion belongs in government. Religion does not belong in our schools. It does not belong in our communities. Religion is something that's inward. And when someone's seeking answers and they're drawn to that particular religion, then that's their choice. It's their right. And it should be done inside their own space, their own church, their own home, or whatever it may be. But other people have to be allowed to do the same thing. Equality. And when one religion, for some reason, decides that no other religion is right, and it's within their right or within their call to try to limit other people's religion because their religion is the only one that's real, I'm sorry, but that religion does not belong in this country. And you're going to say, well, you're attacking Christianity. No, I'm not. There are many wonderful Christians out there that do not push that belief on people. They respect the idea of choice. They respect the idea of people living their life the way they want to, as they do theirs. But then you've got these people out there that they want to, it's almost like they're ministering from a center of hate. That they're not ministering because they want to show people the love of God, but they just want to change people to fit their way of thinking. It has nothing to do with spirituality. It has nothing to do with love, because even their own scripture says, do everything in love. Do you see love? When you see people out on the street corners preaching that you're going to burn forever if you don't convert? When you try to go to one of your witchy or pagan festivals or whatever that we have outside, and you've got people standing outside the gates preaching that we're all going to go to hell for what we're doing and what we believe, and your children are being verbally attacked and told that they're going to die and burn forever just by doing the same thing their parents are doing, and you find that acceptable? No, that's not acceptable at all. Just like it wasn't acceptable to not have other religions in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, Tennessee. One religion all over the place being pushed and pushed and pushed. Religious trauma. Because that's the first thing that I saw when I drove in to that area. And I said, I doubted, should I do this podcast on this, or should I just let it be? And I just said, I felt Spirit just kind of say, no, you need to talk about it. You need to tell people that these are the things that have to be eliminated in this country. I understand that these areas are, that's the Bible Belt and that's just the way things were. But that's not the way things are now. And things have to change. People have the right to be who it is that they are. And you do not have the right to tell them how to live. We do not have the right to deny happiness and freedom to anyone based upon race or sexual orientation, gender, or religion or anything. We don't have the right to limit anyone. And that's what we have to focus on in this country. These bills that are attacking so many different things, but leaving open everything else, is utterly ridiculous. We need to focus on where the issues are. The real issues. And the real issues are not in the LGBT community. The real issues are in our own communities and in our own pushing of theology, that we've got to take a step back and really think, why can't we just let the gods do all this? Why can't we just love our neighbor for who they are? Their potential, who they could be. That we don't need to change anybody. We don't need to change their way of thinking. If they're interested in that change, let them see it in you. Not just by what you preach or what you are pushing. But maybe if they look at your actions and they see your lifestyle and they see the way you live and they see the way that you're happy, maybe they'll want to live that life. But regardless, let them live theirs, just as you live yours. And we might find that peace just starts flowing through this country like a mighty river. It just kind of sweeps through things. Religion has been a curse from the beginning of time. And not because of the gods, but because of man. Men, humanity, and its need to control, its need to confine everybody that doesn't believe what they believe. And when we find that point in humanity, in our existence, in our enlightenment, that it's okay to be different, that it's okay to believe different things, and we can still be together, we can still work together, we can still thrive in this country and don't have to believe, well, my religion says this and my religion says that. That's fine. Be your religion and allow others to be theirs. Let people live their life, period. It's sad that we actually have to get to the point where we have to try to remove religion, period, from our country. But sadly, if one religion is not going to let other religions do the same thing that religion is doing, the only other option is to make it mandatory that no religion does it. That religion is in the four walls of your home. That it's in you. Because nobody can change your spirituality. You walk down the street, you are who you are. And nothing can ever change that. No oppression, no suppression, no amount of hate can ever change you unless you allow it to. You can be Christian, you can be Hindu, you can be Buddhist, you can be Muslim, whatever it is you are, you can be that without having to shove that down somebody else's throat everywhere you go. It is possible. And if we did that, this country would be so much more peaceful. We might find out that everything, the murder rate, the crime rate, all these different things, we will find that the numbers would just begin to drop. Why? Because we are opening the doors of respect and freedom and choice and honoring humanity and honoring people for who they are, for what they can be. Not rather than fitting into the norm of what culture or whatever society says is right. Because we have that right now, without a doubt. It's in our schools. It's in our businesses, in our homes, in our jobs. Most of us, we talk about culture. Things have to be a certain way in order to kind of fit into that family area or that, and it shouldn't be that way. competition, sadly, does nothing but divide. And we've got competition in every area of our life. But it doesn't belong in religion. It doesn't belong in spirituality. Let the gods handle that. Maybe that's the issue, is we took the responsibility of the gods upon ourselves. We forgot our own mission in life. We forgot our own purpose in this life. We destroyed our own planet, and we continue to destroy our own planet. We definitely, if we're the gods, we definitely have failed. And there's changes that have to be made to fix what our ancestors have done and what we have done so far in this life. But we're all here. We're all put here on this earth. And we've been on this earth for many, many years with no intervention from any outside source that we know of. And all we've done is bicker about religion. We've just fight over land and property and our own cultures. But we could have just focused on what was right in front of us. All working together for one purpose: enlightenment and a better world. Taking care of Mother Earth. Taking care of the creatures on Mother Earth rather than destroying them. Killing things in the name of luxury. Just take some time and think about what I've said. I know I've kind of went off topic and I've talked about a few different things. But if you take anything from this, it's about religious freedom. It's about lifestyle freedom. It's about free choice, free will, and allowing people to be who it is that they are. Allowing people to live the life that they choose. And as long as they're not hurting someone unwillingly, let them be. Be a Christian in your home, in your church. Let the pagan do the same. Let the Muslim do the same. Let that Hindu family do the same. You don't need to be out on the street corner preaching something that someone doesn't even believe in. You know, many people don't even believe in a biblical hell. Most religions actually don't believe in a biblical hell, just like they don't believe in a devil. Wiccans do not believe in a devil. So you can't really argue the fact that when someone says, well, you serve or worship the devil, you cannot serve or worship something you don't even believe in. Freedom. That's what it's all about. Freedom. Spiritual freedom. And in order to ensure that spiritual freedom, we have to eliminate spiritual oppression. And spiritual oppression sadly runs through this country, and it should not. It needs to get out of our politics. It's time to vote out religious people, religious radicals. It's time that they be voted out. A politician that cannot vote for the people in a way that is neutral and unbiased, because their job is to serve the people. That's their job. If they can't do that, they don't need to be in that position. Whoever they are. We don't, I'm not giving any names, or we're not talking about, vote for this person or vote for that person, because obviously, we can't do that as a nonprofit. But we can say that religion needs to be out of government. It needs to be out of our schools. It needs to be out of our communities. Or let them all in those things. And I don't think that's going to happen. So the best way and the best route to do this is for each of us to be who it is that we are, and stop pushing it on everybody else. This has been Richard Kent from the Pagan Empire Incorporated. We're based here in Lebanon, Indiana. Please visit our website at www.thepaganempire.com. Sign up to be an advocate. Sign up to join our priesthood ordination. Sign up to even be a guest on this podcast. Just check it out. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on YouTube. Be blessed, everybody, and blessed be. Thank you, everyone. This is Richard Ravenbrook. From my heart to yours, I hope you are blessed. Please be a blessing. Share these podcasts. Share my short videos. Tell the world the work that's being done. Help me open the minds of those so closed. Help me bring into the fold those seeking truth and enlightenment. Be blessed.